Hi, welcome to Gamescape 3D. We're here today to go over our main asset for our upcoming Lighthouse Kickstarter. It is not our largest Kickstarter, but it will be thorough. Stretch goals will be utilized to populate the area around the lighthouse, as well as fill the lighthouse with various assets and different building options. Uh, It'll also be fully FDM printable and fully resin printable for anyone who has Mono X or a larger 3D printer. And we'll go over how we're setting up those files for you as well. All right, let's get to it. All right, first I'm going to get these docks out of the way. There will be some simple, robust docks that we'll be giving you. And those come in two height options. So you can get up to the main door of your storage area here and then have docks going away from this point. All right, so let's get to the main part here. I'm going to start on the top where your light feature can be. Everything that you get will be stackable using cones. The top part will feature a light feature. This fire feature you see right here is vase printed, so if you have a light under there, the light will come through the same way as it would with a lithophane, if you're familiar with those. And this just lifts off, and you have room in there for the most popular sizes of little LED torches. These will be pretty easy to find, especially with Halloween coming up. They come in various heights, and some of the widths vary a little bit, but we've left enough room in there for the most common types. We'll have an alternate plate you can slide down in there if you want to put in your own stronger LED lighting kit. And of course, this fire feature you'll be able to resin print in translucent as well if you want to take advantage of those sort of effects. Each floor will feature trapdoor access. We'll have both an open and closed trapdoor option that you can insert in there. All right. Now let's go ahead and start doing the rest of the breakdown. The top here, you'll have a simple room and a little balcony. The next layer down will be split. We like to do the split access on interior areas. That way, if you're using it in a gaming situation, everyone can see into the interior space without having to stand on top of the building. It also drastically cuts down print time, so you can get each of these printed in 8 to 12 hours instead of having 24-hour prints. So here's our first living quarter floor, and then here's a little character so you can sort of get an idea of the scale there. So there's still some room there. And we got our next layer right here. This starts getting into our cliff. And this also features a cutaway wall for easy tabletop viewing. Okay, so here's our lighthouse. This is probably sort of your optimum option right here, where you have the top part resin printed, the area that's most visible to people when they're looking at it, and then having the bottom part FDM printed. But I'll have the files set up for you to resin print the entire thing if you want to. For the resin printing, I'll go ahead and set this aside for a second. We'll be setting up the files hollowed out for you with drain holes on the back. It'll feature a 15% infill on the walls to prevent any warping on your vertical access as you're printing. For supports, we're going to utilize a system I got turned on to recently, which features a large number of light supports with spherical ends. I'm not sure who developed this. If anyone does, you can pass it along and I'll be sure to give them credit. It uses a lot of resin, obviously, but you know, a failed building print in resin uses a lot of resin too, and I want to make sure I give people something that'll work. And despite all those connectors, you can see there's barely any texture at all left over from all those connectors. It's a really nice system. I've been really happy with it. So when we get down to these bottom layers here, I do have some of our insertable peg system, and the reason for that is that a few of these lower layers have an undercut to them which requires reverse printing, so I can't have as we get to these bottom layers, you'll see I have a few areas that have our peg insert system, and the reason for that is that there's some undercut design features here that require the model to be flipped over for printing, which prevents us from putting those cone stacking parts on top there. The peg system is pretty simple. They just insert into these slots and the slots go all the way through. So if you insert a peg too far, you can just use a nail to push them back out. Okay. Each one of these pegs has a serrated design feature to help it catch onto the side walls, and you're welcome to sort of glue those in place so they can become permanent features. Okay, and as we get down to the bottom here, this is our final room, sort of a warehouse storage area there. This lifts off for now to reveal an open chamber. I wanted to leave an open space there in case anyone wants to use this decoratively. They could fill this with plaster or some other object to add some weight to the base of this if you want it to sort of stand in place. Thank you for stopping in with us this morning. The link to the page to receive notification for this Kickstarter's launch is located somewhere in the area below, so have a look for that if you want notification. And thank you for checking out our product breakdown for our upcoming Lighthouse Kickstarter.